Hello and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL, and today we are making pattern 36844 doubled. That's pattern, by the way, is over on friendshipbracelets.net. This whole bracelet turned out to be super easy. Even just sorting the strings in the beginning, right? It just goes 4 dark, then 4 light. It's kind of weird looking at it now on my computer. It looks kind of white, but it's a kind of a light blue, and then, well, no, medium blue, and then pink. So it's kind of cute. I have to say, it was delightful to have like an easier bracelet to work on. It took just over 80 minutes, like 82 or something. It's kind of par for this size of a bracelet, but it was nice, relatively easy. But I have to say, it did become a little bit more challenging after we hit the center of it. So the fact it came down and you do a full row to the left and a full row to the right, and then it comes in to one past the changing color, and then the little hook thing goes on, and then the rest. That was pretty easy. But then when it flips at the middle, that longer row comes after everything else, and it just got a little bit weirder than I was ready for, to be honest. But that said, this pattern has a lot of possibilities, different ways of doing it. I was actually thinking that if I had just kept it as a simple candy stripe, I could have like 2 of the hooks per row, and I could even make them so that way they're facing inwards, right? I thought that might actually have been pretty neat. So yeah, when I first showed this to my wife, her first response was, the bracelet looks like some kind of 8-bit thing. And I get it. It's sort of like the Atari figures or whatever, like for like Space Invaders, that kind of thing. It does have a little bit of a look like that, but yeah. I do get into a rhythm here where I eventually figure out how to best segment knot this thing, and it didn't include one pink dot in the very center. I was just like trying to finish out the diamond, but that's not necessary. It can be part of the row that comes afterwards. But anyways, yeah, I get into a rhythm. It works out really well. It's pleasant. I just, it's not the fun, challenging bracelet like, oh my God, it's so difficult, or I have to, deal with the pattern in whatever way. No, this was easy going. This was a nice little change from some of the stuff I normally do. If I hadn't reversed the order, right, in the center, this would have been just nothing but right and left knots. Because I reversed it, at that point, you're going, to the right and then the left, and then the left and the right, just to get it to mirror and come back the other way. But that's the only time it really uses those. So if you're a beginner and you don't really have a handle on those other knots, you could probably do this, just leave out the part where it flips. If you're wanting to give it a try and you don't want to do too many of those kind of knots, then this pattern itself would be perfect for you, because there's very little usage of those. So that turned out pretty cool. Yeah, so what else can I tell you? It seems like it's an awful long video for something that turned out to be really kind of simple. Oh yeah, so the pattern really kind of happens like you come in going over itself, and then you go over one of the darker colors, with the light, and then vice versa. If you're doing the dark ones, it goes one over. But literally anything in that space where those two colors collide can be altered. So the thing is, why this kind of looks kind of cool like a hook is because it did leave off one row to do the thing. But this premise of being able to do something where it crosses over is something that you can have a lot of fun with, because you can basically put anything you want to in the spaces when two colors go over each other. Now, mind you, we doubled a pattern that only had 8 strings, right? So that's why it's like 4 and 4 on both sides. If you put all 8 blues on one side and you put all of the 8 pinks on the other, you get a bigger space in the middle where you can put anything you want into it. So that can be for putting in letters. You want to maybe spell out somebody's names inside of little blocks like that, you can do that. If you want to put in spirals, you want to put in whatever else. Just the thing is, whenever two strings are both blue, it's going to be a blue knot, and that's going to happen in the corners of this. Like when you see the light color coming in, once it's pink on pink, you can't change the color. So that's, you have to kind of plan for how the little diamonds are going to work into your design, because that's just part of the nature of this kind of thing. In this case, it just makes the little triangles on the side and the big patch of the diamond in the center, right? Because in this case, the 4 pinks are coming across and 4 pinks are coming across, so you get a 4 by 4. The fact it goes out 5 and 5 and leaves a little gap at the bottom of it is because it's going one further for no real particular reason. Like that, they didn't have to do that in the pattern. In fact, I kind of considered bringing it in a little bit just to do, but then I figured there's no need for that. Leave it close to what the original pattern was and just kind of work that out. Hang on, really parched here. But yeah, again, it's an easy bracelet to make. It's a little time consuming because it is a bigger bracelet overall. That said, I did double my floss because that's what I do. If you try to do this single, you would need more repetitions than what's in my pattern, because each knot takes up less space, right? But that's okay. This would look really cool, like a little bit more intricate and longer, you know? And the flipping it, that's where I really think it looks like something from Atari. Like when we get to the bottom part, you'll see. And because it's sort of repetitive going away from it, it looks like a weird funny shadow effect of like the same shape going outwards. So in some ways, this having reversed it made for something really interesting. And yeah, I kind of like it. It's not the colors I would necessarily wear, but the bracelet itself is really fascinating and it's a lot of fun. And I definitely think you'll have a lot of fun making it. I think if you wanted to put your own spin on it, you wanted to maybe change the directions, you know, of the little hook things, you could do that. You could do a lot of stuff with this. You could make it, like I said, the candy stripe with 2 hooks per row, which is something I'm actually considering doing, just for the sake of showing you guys how it could be done. So yeah, we'll see. I haven't committed to the idea yet, but I definitely am contemplating like how that could be an interesting change. So yeah, if that's something you guys want, you gotta let me know. I don't get a lot of comments on my videos. I can see a lot of people watch them. I look at the stats and stuff. A lot of people are coming in here and watching the videos, but I don't get a lot of special requests or stuff like that. I could kind of use the help in figuring out what would be a good thing to make. So if you're up for that, let me know. So okay, here's coming into the blue segment. that is what is the center. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Oh, and I was very systematic about the way that I was doing the lefts and rights and whatever, and it really kind of shows on the back of it. It turned out really good. It's really good. So if you're a fan of the backsides of bracelets, this one could be you. Yeah. What else can I tell you? I have to say, like, coming into this thing, like, I wasn't like a super like, wow, this is gonna be the most amazing pattern. But as it was coming together and as I got further, I have to say the overall design of it kind of grew on me, and I thought it was kind of fun, you know, especially since it just felt really easy. I didn't have to like stare at the pattern the whole time. It was just, you know, once you get going. Oh, there was the knots that curve inwards. So yeah, each one of these blues has to kind of do that. In this case, it's the pink one because it makes little dots on it, which in some ways kind of adds to that whole Space Invader vibe because it looks like the, you know, a couple eyes on this thing. But yeah, it's the pink that bounces it. So that was a left and then a right, and then coming down, this will be a right and then left, and then the other side comes down and that is a left and then right, and then it doesn't matter which way you do the center one because it's a blue and a blue. And yeah, I get people that are like, oh, I like your pattern, but you don't show directions of the knot. That's because if it's blue and blue, then it doesn't matter which direction you tied it, it's still going to be a blue knot. If it's pink and pink, it's going to be the pink knot. If it's a blue and a pink, just take a look at which color is the thing, right? Like in this case, it's blue, right? And then see where the end of it, see where it came in, it's a blue. Where does it go from there? It goes to the right. Okay, I need to do that kind of knot. It's really that simple. Once you kind of figure out like how string moves in different directions, like underneath and or above, my patterns will be super simple for you to read. And it actually in some ways makes it a lot easier because sometimes people put in directions that are not beneficial to making anything. If anything, it almost makes it more difficult. So yeah, just a heads up, if you can choose your own direction, you can make it really easy on yourself. Oh, and this pattern didn't use any string up, you know, particularly more than another. Sometimes on a pattern like this, you'll end up with a couple strands that get like used a whole lot and then the others didn't get so much. Not a problem here. I didn't have to have it cut nearly as long as I had it, but I do like having my strings long enough to make sure that I don't have to worry about such things. And I know I say that a lot, but one, you guys could be new here, whoever's watching this, and two, it's really worth kind of pointing out the fact that, you know, you don't save anything if your whole project gets scrapped because the string wasn't long enough to actually complete out the whole thing. It's just a whole lot easier to start out with something that's reasonable and going with that. So there you go. And I would tell you, like, you know, okay, so I cut my strings in thirds and that tends to work pretty good for me. However, if you use something other than the floss that I'm using, your what you need could change, right? If you're using like a pearl cotton, like those skeins are like really long, like more than 8 meters. So obviously I wouldn't cut that into thirds. Plus pearl cotton is smaller, like the string itself is actually thinner than this. So yeah. Oh yeah, this is, so you can see like the way that it goes about making the little hook shapes is so different when it's coming the other way. And it's not hard, but it's different. And just after having gotten so used to the other side and everything was coming along so well, this one comes in 2 over the pink. And again, I'm trying to segment this the best I can. So goes 2 over, and then you have to come in. This one doesn't go over any at all. And then this is where the 2 pinks come in. And then you get 1 blue knot, and then the pink, and then the pink row comes out. So yeah, that had me really kind of confused. I did have to really kind of look at the pattern and figure out what the heck was going on in that instance. And then the center is just doing chevrons, joining it back up, and then you have 2 bigger chevrons to close off that color. So yeah, it was definitely felt really, really different coming down the other side. But like I said, it's a relatively easy pattern to work with. If you kind of don't like the notion of how the other side flips, don't flip it. Just make it the series coming all the way down. It would still look pretty cool. It looks, oh, I know what it kind of looks like. It looks, you know, like when files are in the file cabinet and you have like the repetitive series one after another. It's like that, except for with like little things coming off of it, because it's kind of a shadowy effect that the colors make. I don't know. I think it's pretty neat. It's okay. This pink one, and then 1 more blue one. Yeah, there's not that much of the video left. I am past the midlife. I completely forgotten. Thank you to my Patreon supporters and my YouTube members for making this possible. I definitely rely on their help and encouragement to keep this channel going. And yeah, we got a lot of awesome people here. If you want to have your name up on the screen, it's easy to do. For the YouTube members, it's the join button right next to subscribe. And for Patreon, it's Patreon.com/AKAAWOL. So, yeah. Yeah, every little bit helps. It doesn't have to be a huge financial amount. Any little bit helps keep things going here. So, and I am absolutely grateful for everybody who does help out. So thank you guys. Getting near the end of this, I feel like every time I make these things, like I have way more insight. Like I'm talking. Well, a lot of these are done while I live stream over on for the YouTube members, right? So there's people that can come in, ask questions and whatever. I feel like I'm really talkative while I'm making it, but then when it comes time to like shoot the video like I'm doing right now, like my brain just goes blank and I don't remember all the things that I was thinking about. But yeah, I do my best. Maybe I should like find a way. I would keep notes, but then the problem with that is like pausing the record and, you know, to write down a thing. If there was an audio way of me being, well, yeah, if I could just record a little voice clip, but not like have to go through the whole video and watch it to see what I said, that would be a lot better. I would just realize I could just watch my own videos, but that would, it took, you know, like I said, 80 plus minutes. So watching 80 minutes of myself making bracelets just seems a little bit like nope. But yeah, this is the last row here. If you guys have any questions, thoughts, whatever, leave it in the comments. And yeah, I'm looking forward. I got a little bit more difficult pattern, I think, to work on next. We'll see how that goes. I don't know. It could turn out to be super easy. It could be something that I'm getting myself worked up over nothing. I don't know. We'll see what happens though. So, got a little bit more of a chevron thing here. Oh, and then there's the longer chevron after that. But yeah, I want to thank you guys for hanging out this long. It's been my pleasure to give you guys entertainment. And yeah, this is nearing the end. See, one long row, and then I kind of cinch it up and turn it into tassels. So there you guys go. A lot of fun, by the way. So yeah, thank you guys again for hanging out with me. And as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.